Yes, sir. Live that. SINY, KaRasta Music Records, REGGAE, Imänefese Qaduse, Dreddz, coming through with some good interviews. Live that SINY. Live that Staten Island, New York, yes, I represent for my brethren, church on the television show. Oh, yeah, you don't know.
Hey, welcome back. Dreddz. Live that SINY. We got a special performance today. We got Imänefese Qaduse in the house. All right. Did I get it right, my brother? Yes.
You know it's me you're talking
Yeah.
to, so you know it's me you're talking to.
All right.
I don't like to say right or wrong, you know, because we're speaking English, you know.
Right, but
And really, like I said before, to really transcend into really saying how the real Ethiopian would say it,
right.
is a whole different way. Because in regular conversation, it makes sense for me to say, well, really, is Imänefese Qaduse. But that's not really 100% correct if you want to use that word, because it's really Imänefese Qaduse. But that's a whole nother realm, you know, from what we're usually speaking, you know.
No,
That's
because
the
I
thing
just got
about it.
over the hump. Because I've been saying KaRasta wrong, and it's more in the KaRasta, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, it is KaRasta.
Right, but it's more of a, you know what I'm saying? That pronunciation.
You know, from the no, cause initially back then you were saying KaRasta,
Right.
Because you didn't meet me yet to hear me say it, you know.
right.
And I don't think I'd even said it in the tracks at that time. Neither I wasn't saying it so much in the track, so you wouldn't hear how it sounded until you really hear me or Guy say it, you know, or someone of you know, crew say it. But that's different still, cause KaRasta that kind of different because Qaduse. 99.9% of the time in conversations, I'm going to say, yeah, that's what it is. Qaduse.
Right.
Because we're still speaking European. Even if we say Patois, that's still mixed with European in a sense. But the African, because the Ethiopian as well as the South African, for lack of a better term to put, but these areas, that none of these places right now, when it comes to that you can refer to it as a click sound. And that's the real signature of it. Because that's why I say it's not even really Qaduse.
Right.
It's really Qaduse. But if you you know what I mean, that's why, you know, looking at other cultures is so important, especially indigenous African culture.
Right.
Sometimes I'm just listening, you know, most of the time I'm not even listening to the kind of music that I put out. I'm listening to sounds that no people would probably even think I'm sitting down listening to.
Right.
Like last night, for instance, I go to sleep with and many times I do this with anybody that's type up Kora, Kora. Is the best way to express it to this society. You can look at it as the African version, but really therefore the more ancient version of what's known as the is a string instrument. It's like, all right, the Asian people, whether they're Chinese or Japanese, but the Asian people, you see them in the city sometimes have this instrument. It's played in front of them like this. You know what I mean? And it's a string instrument. You can compare it to the harp.
Yeah,
but
I
when you look
this
at
one, the drum horn.
But it's with fingers. If you ever see the Asians, like in the subway or anywhere through the city or anywhere online, if you ever see this, because I see them do it, but it's coming from the Africans.
Right.
And they play it like this. It looks like a harp in a sense.
Right.
But the way they're playing it, they play it like this. The strings is, you know, and they're playing it like this. Man, I have to send you personally the link, but anybody, for y'all to look it up for yourselves. Kora, Kora. And these sounds is different from the sounds you used to hear in the music. And the interesting thing about KaRasta that you bring it up, and it ties to a lot of things to even overstand certain things going on with me. When I got the vision for music business again, that was, again, remember say I tell you, say I'm doing music for my little bit.
Right.
I'm born into the industry. Therefore, I get to be privy to the industry.
Yes.
And when I got into my 20s, as I'm getting more into my spirituality, right away I'm getting so unsure of the industry based on what I know and I don't have to ask nobody about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So is I ready for going to the hills? And I still have that feeling every day. You understand? Because it's like I heard Public Enemy say when they went into the industry, they had a plan only to be there for 2 years and bounce because they know what they're getting into is not something that they really want to get into. It's like once you have a care for the world, either you're going into what they call politics, or either you're going into some form of other art. Because politics involves the art of talking and, for lack of a better word, persuasion or influence. because you have to be able to speak to people and get them to follow you as a so-called politician. You may not even be thinking like that. It's just you care and you start speaking and people like, yeah, yeah, and then suddenly you Malcolm X. You know what I mean?
But if you ain't got the right lingo, guess what?
True.
Right.
But the point is that the whole point is that that world that you're going into, the more you go in there, you realize is more than even meets the eye. It's more uglier than you really.
There's a lot of deception.
You know, outside you can see already it's fake. You know, Hollywood fake, politics fake. It's like wrestling in a sense, but wrestling involves real blood. So that's the thing about it. It's truths mixed up with non-truths, and that's the whole world. And when you talk about the industry, anything that influences people, they definitely have a control on it. So some things I try not to even to say and talk about, which is besides the multiple things I say already. I'm already saying a lot of things, and the music saying a lot of things, and there's certain things I still try to be careful what I'm saying, because at least if it's in music, I could always say, oh, it's just music, and I giving away something there, but you can't fight me for music.
Right.
But if I'm saying in a regular conversation, you may be, all right, I don't know. So I go sing Crooked Cop. Because if I just talk to people like that, then I still it have an effect like if I'm talking, but I still can say, oh, it's just music.
But a lot of people can relate to it more.
Yeah, it's multiple reasons, because they can relate to it more, but also, in terms of the people, them, yes, they can relate to it more, but in terms of the fact that we're going into a place that either a lot of people lose their lives or you just don't hear about them no more because they get blackballed or all these things here. You know what I mean? Or something happens to somebody connected to them.
Always.
You know what I mean?
Always.
So we'd have to know that, realize that's what we're doing, and the fact that I'm born to a person. All right, even to give a preview to some people, because I don't talk about it all the time, you know. But I'm born into the industry, meaning I'm born to the person that was a tour manager for Bob Marley, who the world knows as Bob Marley.
Right.
My father was a tour manager for him. That means not every single tour, but the biggest tour, all right, the tour he managed for him was like around 1979, 1980.
When you came here?
Well, he been coming here before then, though, but that's when he's getting more up. But my father actually helped him.
Right.
In that case. My father big him up, Copeland, Forbes. His book is coming out finally. It's available for pre-order now, but officially towards
We've been talking about this book for a while, so they need to go out there and check it out.
Yeah, it's 2 decades, but
Check
this
it
is what
out.
I said. A lot of things go on that to talk about is a lot of stuff that you don't really want to hear about, but just understand it's more than meets the eye when you're dealing with the industry. You understand? I'm not even trying to go into all of that. It's just to touch up certain things, because just to make people understand what I'm even talking about. What you mean he's part of the industry? People looking at me right now don't know who I am. They may know who I am through the show, but I'm not no big famous person. But then I mentioned somebody who's my father is a man dealing with people big. So let me continue in that just to give people an idea and to connect up what I'm even trying to go say. Because not really just to talk about my father. I'm here right now trying to make a point of. I'm making a point of this industry.
Right.
Right? Because even to, I think it was before we started here and you mentioned about Joe Mercer. Rest in peace, Rising Power, the young Marley. No, remember, how am I going to put it now? All right, follow what I'm saying reverse-wise, because I'm trying to play it safe. Agency Intelligence Central. Follow me right now. The AIC, reverse. Right? The AIC, reverse. All right, intellect people, stay with us. The AIC, right? The Agency Intelligence Central. I don't need to say no more. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. These people sent AGENTS to follow certain influential people.
Forever.
You know, and especially anything that has to do, you know, the IBF, reverse. You know what I mean? The those people.
Right.
Men in Black.
Right.
Those people.
I don't need them, you know what I'm saying?
Those people.
Keep reversing it.
They have something from a long time, you know. Malcolm X fell in that category. Marcus Garvey fell in that category. No, people, the whole I want to say, people that they say that is people that they have a category, they have a way of wording it in their actual literature, but something to the effect of, quote unquote, a black messiah. Meaning they're always looking out for this black messiah. Any person from our people, whether it's from the islands or over here, no matter Africa, any one of our people, or anybody closely related like a Gaddafi kind of character who is like coming up like a leader, like we say, and influential, and speaking for the people and speaking of certain truths against the system. You going in hot water, either you're going to have to disappear on the people them, or they're going to make you disappear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you got to kind of compromise with them.
Right.
You get me? No. All right, just straight to the point. I can't bother. The AIC, the AIC
They
agent.
got it. They got it.
Yeah,
they
the
got it.
AIC agent on his deathbed admitted that the man didn't die from cancer. I was sent by the company to put something in his boot that gave him the damn thing. He said this on his deathbed, and people can research this nearly a decade, if not a decade or so ago. So all that, oh, conspiracy theory, oh, he died from cancer, and people say, oh, it's all that smoke of ganja, had nothing to do with that.
Rare cancer, very rare. That
It
you
had
shouldn't
nothing to
even
do.
caught. You know what I'm saying?
Cancer is man-made. We have to think about this, when they make things, these people is people that use their mind. When you put a name on something, and then you come and put another name on it, it give you the idea like it's like, okay, Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola. Let's say they're owned by the same people. Is that far from reality? Maybe.
Right.
Burger King, McDonald's, maybe the same people own both of them. It's like Crips and Bloods. Maybe the same person is orchestrating all of this behind scenes. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just a musician. Don't hurt me. Don't bother me. But we know certain thing is real. When they give you a reason for something that happened, Malcolm X told us of these things. A lot of them warn us about these things coming up. Even Selassie especially warn us about these things coming up, talking about the propaganda machine. That is not just right now, they're telling you something from 20 years ago. That right now is working the magic right now. It's only certain people may be saying certain thing, and then some people's in and out.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah?
Is that they're not here to tell the real version of the story, so we get...
No, the real versions right now, you can find the proof of it and the evidence of it, recordings and documents. I seen with my eyes certain things. If you want to know about the case...
Years later, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, years later.
But not
decades
when
later.
it was hot news and not when it was the topic of...
During the time of then. But right now, as we speak, and it's been right now for a while right now, and I can testify to that. You can find certain information. At least I've been privy to certain things through different reasons and different people, and different means. But... just to keep it on the fact that we are still in the same situation for hundreds of years right now, It's just what they're calling it.
Thousands. Thousands of years.
I say hundreds of years in the sense of, because United States of America, right now when you look at the ball game, it's the same players for a long time right now. You still, when you check out international news, you're still hearing about Russia, you're still hearing about USA, you're still hearing about Israeli, you're still hearing about, it's the same. You think the world was always this language of people we're hearing about, and then Africa situation there, and the Middle East situation
Not
there.
if there was really a Pangea, you know what I'm saying? Everything was connected.
Well, realistically, whatever they want to call it, realistically that was the case. But that's not that's not even thousands of years ago. Again, that's millions of years ago. But that's why I'm saying hundreds of years right now, because the players right now is only hundreds of years. America is not. Okay, specifically, the company business corporation that's known as United States of America that owns their lands that they own, because not just what you see here is Alaska and Hawaii as well, right? And they still have a connection. Yeah.
That they...
So the thing about it is that we keep in mind, they're not 1,000 years old. This company that controlling this land is not 1,000 years old. So that's what I'm saying.
Some of these names are not even 1,000 years old.
No, but we have to keep in mind, besides the names, who's actually in control of the place right now is only for hundreds of years, because it's from slavery, which is only hundreds of years, in the sense of from the Mid-Atlantic slave trade. That's what I'm saying. For the past hundreds of years right now,
600 plus.
I go say hundreds of years, because from you, does not say it's hundreds of years.
Right.
Because this earth is millions of years. So just by saying hundreds of years, is given because we know it's millions of years of existence of earth. But the current situation, when you look at the current players, they're only hundreds of years old. Altogether, you can just round it after that, hundreds of years. Because USA is only about hundreds of years. It's also on hundreds, not thousands.
Right.
It's not thousands. The Bible, what we call Holy Bible, is only thousands of years. You know what I mean? This Gregorian calendar is only thousands of years. That's what they come tell us about 2000 something. And I don't know what they call it, if it's a Julian calendar, but regardless, whether it's called known as Gregorian, that's Greek, whether it's known as Julian, that's Julius, all of that is Greco-Roman. The Greco-Roman influence, like we said on the other episode, is there in Ethiopia because they're still talking about 2000 something, even though it's different. But these is all European influence, the Caucasian influence, you know what I mean, reptilian influence. So, but this influence right now is only hundreds of years old. Because thousands of years ago was a different situation, and then further on into thousands, because to get to 1 million from 1,000, that's a lot of thousands, That's like over 100,000 also.
But so, some of these bloodlines have been continuous.
Of course, those are the ones that keep it, but to keep in mind, as great as it may seem, because people right now, something comes out early this year, they're like, oh, that was a long time ago, that was last month, that was early. So people so that realize and say, hundreds of years is young. You know what I mean? Just like people who's living hundreds of years, like they're living up to 80, one time was 800, it's young like that, you know what I mean? But you're thinking within thousands, you're thinking, it's 2000 something, and even China calendar is selling 1000 something, so it's like it's still in the thousands, But when you start realizing the reality of the real thing, because again, when you're talking at time, it's the same space in moving. So it's layers of reality. You know what I mean? But it's still in the same space going through, in the same circle, in the same space. So 1,000 years is just around the corner, 1,000,000 years is just around the corner. It's just the layers that's built up, because certain things is the same thing from millions of years, thousands of years to now. The sun, the universe basically is the same setup of the solar system. The solar system is as old as what we're talking, millions of years.
We're like a little fish tank there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But the illusion of the time thing is what I'm talking about, to where it reached, to where it's right now, and we thinking what it is, and you know what I mean, these people that's influencing the world and controlling the world, really, they're still in control of the world. They could just press a button and just make a call and something stops right now. If they want to stop this right here, they can just press something, boom.
Please don't. Yeah,
if they want to do anything, it's just a press button.
Right.
Even remember back in the day, I remember school days, we was learning about that with the Cold War and Vietnam and all those things. These same players of the game, same way, the same characters here in USA. So-called Israeli.
Korea.
You know what I mean? Russia. It's the same people. You hear them from long time, have their weapons pointed at each other in the sky, underwater, under land,
Tell me about Korea, what they're two sides.
Okay, you gone to the dragon. Rasta talk about the bear, eagle, and the dragon. Eagle is the USA, bear is Russia, and the dragon is, I say Asia, China, but all of them is part of the same, So where they want to say Korea, whether North Korea, where they want to say China.
They're just the most popular ones with all them nuclear weapons that they
all are the same people
right,
at the full of the day. It's like trying to make a difference between Jamaican, Trinidadian, Haitian, Black American. It's the same people. Japanese,
just Trinidad and Tobago,
China,
period.
Taiwan.
Right.
The same thing. So them is the dragon. Them all is the dragon. China is like the biggest face of them all, but they are the dragon, Over here, so this is the eagle. You know what I mean? And then Russia is the bear. You know what I mean? And then you have Vatican City, and you have Washington District of Columbia, and you have City of London. I'm a musician, and we're just talking here. We're not doing nothing wrong, right? Okay. Just saying that. Disclosure, whatever they want to call it.
Hey,
disclaimer, disclosure, I'm disclosing this.
Right, we put the disclaimer up. So
we're just disclosing some information that is still...
It's very important.
People can assess it still. It's not just us only have it.
It's very important.
It's important.
Just to know, what's in your atmosphere, what's, you know what I'm saying, your surroundings are made up, where you came from, you know what I'm saying, to know where you headed to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have a dark path that they're going down, but it's not their fault. Yeah. This has been years in the making, you know what I'm saying, like a science project, basically.
Yes, it's very much so. That's the best way to put it, and it's been working. So there's a lot of things, pertaining even to the whole thing about industry, because, I mean, you hear about independent, and independent, this thing has been a craze for like probably a decade or so now. Independent. But at the full of the day, you still basically find yourself chasing something,
Or you got the wrong people hands in your pocket. You're independent because the wrong people fronted you the money, you know what I'm saying, to continue whatever agenda that
they... what I'm saying now. I'm going to share something that I'm working on, We need our own distribution company, and I'm working on a distribution company. In reality, I'm going to share it. All right, KaRasta Music Records, that's the label, right? KaRasta Music Records is in the business of selling records. That's the case of any record label, is to sell music.
Right.
But in terms of distribution, Ahfyahkah Music Arts Distribution, a.k.a. Ahmad, A-M-A-D. Ahfyahkah Music Arts Distribution. That's a distribution company that I'm starting up. You know what I mean? And the focus is Mama Africa, because when I first got inspired, because remember, I'm telling you again, let me tell my story, so people can even understand certain things, Because at this point right now, as I speak, we're supposed to be in Africa already, You know what I mean? Doing what I'm doing, because it was never for here to operate from here, at this point. Because the vision was always in Africa. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you're here, you have to work with the industry here. And if we're going to say we're going to build up the industry in Africa, we have to be in Africa to do that. We can do things from a distance. And even in Africa, you still can work with everybody, just like everybody is connected through the online. So it's not like, you go somewhere, I can't work with you there. but to be on ground where you're at, to really establish that, you know? You know what I mean? And I take in time what I'm talking about because the way I be meditating certain things and it's true time, you know. 'Cause like I said again, I took a decade to get sure again about music. I'm doing music from 8, 9 years old. That means you're talking of late 1980s. You know what I mean? And then born in a situation I'm born into, and then when I'm getting into my 20s, meaning even before my 20s, like as the 20s, as I'm in my late teens going into my 20s, it's two pulls going on: the music industry as well as the complete opposite, just to leave society completely. I'm not even sure about relationship with no
Right,
woman, you know.
right.
But I'm already in one at that point. So it's like if that wasn't idea, I wouldn't be looking for no woman at that point. Neither am I really looking. I'm not even concerned at that point so much about money. So it's two different poles because if you're saying music industry, you're saying music business, you're dealing with money, you're dealing with commerce, you're dealing with commercial, and even those things at that time, this is late 1990s going into early 2000. A lot of unsurety. I didn't get sure again, just to remind you, until nearly about a decade ago. And a little after that, that's when we start KaRasta Music Records. And a little after that, that's when I meet followers.
Right.
Geese, me know him from long time. Big up Raw Geese, big up Nigga Snare, big up to
Yes.
C.E.O, big up everybody who know me, big up Bobo Joseph, aka Django. You know, me rest in peace, Rising Power again, Black Apache, aka Kamachi. You know, and large up everybody who know me, friends and family and everybody else, online, offline, in the streets. And big up all ancestors who watch over you. And all you spies working for so-called IBF and AIC, love to you too. You know me, you're doing your job. I don't hate you, you know. But we do have issues, right? Yeah. So we do that in music. We're only musicians, nothing else, not affiliated with no organization. Only the organization of good heart and good thought, you know. But truth, you can't say good without truth. You can't say truth without good. You know what I mean? It can't just sound good. It can't just sound truth, you know. But it's just to say that my biological father, like I said, Copeland Forbes, right? Biological father. I born see him in the business, in the industry. I grew among seeing, Jimmy Cliff. You know what I mean? Being down in Jamaica, born out here, but down there as youth. You know, they used to call me Copeland Briefcase, you know what I mean? Jimmy Cliff, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, Jimmy Cliff is a big Jamaican musician, meaning vocalist as well as play instruments, and also a movie star. He was in the Harder They Come movie. I'll look up that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my biological father, Copeland Forbes. Look out for his book called Reggae My Life Is. I don't think we said the name of it a while ago, but it's to say Reggae My Life is there's a play off of Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh, great musician in reggae, vocalist in reggae. He played with Bob Marley, he played as soloist as well, you know. People who know of reggae must know of Peter Tosh, right? Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh was signed with the Rolling Stones, you know what I mean? That's Mick Jagger them, you know what I mean? That's my father's people seeing me from back then. I could show you a picture of
But he
Mick
also
Jagger.
was with Bob Marley and
All of them, but in the sense of the business,
right.
Bob Marley and them never had no business together, but Peter Tosh was directly signed to the Rolling Stones.
Right.
Bob Marley was never signed to the Rolling Stones. Bob Marley was signed with see, Bob Marley was doing his independent thing, but he also did sign with Chris Blackwell, who's from Island Records from England. So
Right.
that's another avenue right there. When it comes to Bob Marley and my biological father keeping on that, it's just about that tour that he managed in terms of business wise. You know, nothing more, nothing less. But in terms of cause like I say, he's a tour manager really for everybody from back then up to now, you know. Well, up to a few years ago. However, in terms of personal artist manager, is only certain artists. He was never a personal artist manager for Bob Marley, but he was a personal artist manager for Peter Tosh.
Right.
And whoever he's a personal artist manager for, he's gonna also manage the tour naturally. So for every art, look at basically like this. Every musician that came out of Jamaica, whether vocalist, whether dancer, whether whatever, my biological father has managed a tour that they've been on.
Right.
Him. But very small percentage of them can say that he's been their personal artist manager. Before Sean Paul got big, he actually went to my father, asked him to be his personal manager. Surely, my father has managed tours that had been him and Sean Paul, all of them before, but my father don't really like to deal with that element so much. Because, you know, as dancehall became more, you know, derogatory and such, he coming from a time when the dancehall still had a more cleaner vibe. You know what I mean? And it wasn't so much like when the rap came, you know?
It's been kind of derogatory
From a long time, but we're talking of, when you're talking about my biological father, we're talking of from the 60s going into the 70s in the music industry.
Right,
know
that's
what I'm
why
saying?
when you mentioned Peter
So-
Tosh, like most people in that era, they know Peter Tosh was in the group The Wailers with Bob Marley.
Yeah, and Bunny
Right.
Wailer, and actually a few other ones, but they was the
Right.
chief most famous.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how when you hear Peter Tosh, it automatically brings Bob Marley. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
always gonna be the association because remember, really on record and out there they say Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Right.
He, according to stories and what I've heard even from Old Man Biological, Bob Marley that was never his idea, you know. And I want to talk all about that because that's kind of going in a different direction.
Yeah, it's the separation.
Yeah, 'cause I want to keep it because mentioning him, of course, people want to hear more about him. But it's Peter Tosh I'm going into talking about really because, like I said, with Honorable, I rather call him Burhan Selassie Bob Marley. My father's association with him, business-wise, was just that tour.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not really nothing more than that. And then, you know, he passed away 81. Burned as CIA agent, although he confessed on his deathbed. But the point I'm going into to further my point about this industry now, right? Keep in mind, I said those guys was following Bob Marley, you know, and it's not me making this up. And even before the man admit that, it was evidence that the AIC people was following him, right? But when it comes to Peter Tosh now, when we go into that, because
his time came later.
yeah, and this, but only a few years later, still in the 80s. Still in the 80s.
I'm talking about his time with that crap came in recent days.
No, still in the 80s. That's what I'm talking about. Bob Marley passed away 81, Peter Tosh passed away about around 1988. So still in the 80s we're talking about. Okay. And let me show you something. You know, there's a lot of reggae music that people may hear and they may not recognize the artists. There's a lot of reggae, especially male reggae artists that put out singles. Sometimes just a few singles, maybe just one single, and they died at a young age.
Right.
And I remember a virgin that showed me, he did a research and he showed me the facts, but I believe and I accept what he's saying. I didn't know all of those information he showed me though, but I knew to a degree, and knowing the environment and knowing what's going on, like, you have to understand something, man. The situation in everything connects up, even with the hip hop up here. But my story, I have to talk about Jamaica first with it, because what can be seen as gang warfare now, back then it was JLP, Jamaica Labour Party, and PNP,
right,
People's National Party. I don't want to talk too much about that, but it's just to say those same AIC people involved in that. So I'm saying these people watching from a long time, they're watching, just like we said, the Haitian Revolution wasn't the first and only one though, but it was the biggest one. So they're always watching anything, even up to the last decades. They're watching anything that looks like anything because they know, regardless of what you may take away from us or whatever, that spirit, something in the spirit is going to remind us of something, and somebody's going to rise up and something and speak certain things. You know what I mean? They always know that. So they keep an eye on things like that, anybody who's associated with that. No, the time when Peter Tosh died in a very bloody manner, if people don't understand. When I say bloody.
Right.
Bloody, it's not like, I mean, bad is bad, you know. I mean, you know, bad thing is bad thing, you know. But the way Peter Tosh died,
I mean, they did try to take Bob out.
They like did, that. No, but
they shot up his house.
Yeah, but what happened to Peter Tosh? You ever hear what happened to Peter? Just let people know, because we're talking about him talking to us, the audience too.
Right.
Peter Tosh died in a very bloody manner, and for some reason my father wasn't in the house at that time. So be clear on what I'm saying now. Late 80s, I think it was like I said, like around 1988, you know. And it's funny, that's around the time when I started doing music as a youngster. But maybe it was 87, but I feel it was around that time there, 88, 87. There was a tour going on. Like I said, he's his personal manager, so naturally he's going to be his tour manager too. There's a tour going on that they're organizing that's about to happen. Right. And the organization, the meeting place is at Peter Tosh's house. So there's a bunch of people there. It's Peter Tosh, it's the people them who involved in the tour, the band and all these things, you know what I mean? My father running late as usual, so, you know, we get it from partly, you know what I mean? But black people CPT, no excuse reason. But he running late is the reality. And long story short, that's how he escaped that blood fest, or that bloody kill fest.
Right.
People just look him up. I don't want to go into too much of that neither, you know. But the story they give you again is that is a man that he was helping out that turned on him. No, you can't trust nothing in the world, my brother, because you can't trust nothing in the world, my brother.
It's always the first story.
You understand?
But the first story is always the truth. Is after it passes, it's like the game of telephone.
Yeah.
This person might add a part to it, something gets removed from it, you know what I'm saying? And then it just turns into chaos at the end.
Yeah. recently, like about a month ago at this point, but a few weeks ago, I don't know. If you didn't see it, I don't know how you didn't see it though. But it made people laugh and also ask questions. What going on really? Some people get kind of vexed even in terms of our brother Sizzla, Sizzla Kalonji and the situation with DJ Khaled, and he burned up the plaque. You didn't hear about that story?
Oh yeah.
All right, that's why I said I sure you heard about. Everybody was covering and people were going on, we're going on. I not talk too much because I'm not there.
Right.
But there's no in the environment, and you have certain artists that's really. I'm sure it's something where people don't understand this, you know. You have certain artists that's, like I said about Public Enemy. They said that. What I said they, I'm talking specifically Chuck D, Honorable Chuck D.
Right.
Not in personal life, but on a program I was watching from some time back. I hear Chuck D say that he, or somebody that was part of Public Enemy, I think I heard more than one member said this, but this was Chuck D's. Yeah, Professor Griff also said it too. But he's saying that Chuck D was saying from back then that before they got signed and got put on SoCal, yo, we're only going to be in there for 2 years and it's cut. You know what I mean? No, people say, oh, what happened to Lauryn Hill? You see her now and they don't see her and then you know,
Should have went to jail, everything.
yeah, but people have to understand something, you know. When it comes to spiritual artists that are doing this for high, we would have to realize, even Michael Jackson, even though despite how we look at the stories and everything, if you check his music, I don't know about nothing else personally, but that space he was in when you come up with certain kind of lyrics and you listen to what Michael Jackson's saying, he a spiritual artist, despite everything else. If you listen to the music.
Just listen to Man in the Mirror.
All right.
Okay?
And really everything else.
Right. But
It's
that
just-
one specific, if you want to start somewhere, start at Man in the Mirror, because just listen to the lyrics that
Very
he's-
much so, very much so. Come Man in the Mirror reminds me a little about, he's touching the same topic that Berhan Selassie Bob Marley said when he said, Bob Marley sing about you're running and you're running and you're running away, but you can't run away from yourself. It's a similar thing Michael Jackson saying, and he's starting with the Man in the Mirror, you know. But all his songs, man, even the one where he said, and Junior Reid, Father Reid did a version of that song. You know the song? I think it was Earth's Cry or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What
yeah.
about?
But
What about?
they make it into the they made it into a Shamu song or something.
Whatever they want to do, you know.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you go down his list of music, you know, so what point I even going into that? Not to go so much into that. I just draw references to say that anybody that's in the business for decades, anybody that's in this industry specifically for decades, you have to compromise to some degree with certain things. Certain kind of meetings you have, and you have to compromise unless nobody gonna see you, unless they find you in some. See, the good thing nowadays, you have shows like this, you have podcasts, everybody got a camera and a computer,
Nah,
so
right.
now, there's a lot of rappers that people forgot about that you could find them in podcasts as
They
guests.
busted this industry. They blew up this industry. But I don't feel bad because all the industries got blown up, including porn, comedy, every which way you know. Now it's not too hard to get discovered and become a star. You know what I'm saying?
but it's
and become famous.
But the thing, but you see, that's the part I'm talking about.
Right.
All right, let's using that language of blow up and become famous, because it's not really that I'm gonna say, because when you're talking of that, you're still dealing with them. You have to compromise if you want to be that. So the point I'm saying is that when I get KaRasta Music Records in my head, you know, it is a vision more than just saying I'm just gonna do music and sell music and this is the label I'm working with, you know, because a zillion people doing that. A lot of people don't have a label,
And
a lot of
then
people
that's
do have a label.
not really a vision. That's just like
No, it's a vision. So let me expound on what I'm saying.
no, I mean, if you just have, see, people don't understand.
Oh, in
A
terms of what they
vision
want,
is like,
it's beyond,
right.
Yeah. Most people.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you've seen a ghost and you just see that ghost one time. No,
Yeah.
a vision is thought out and it's, you know what I'm saying?
It's long term.
Right.
It's not
You
no
know, it's
short
a
term.
whole artistic, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
going
yeah,
with a
yeah.
vision.
Well, yes, that's what I say. Most people not thinking like that. So yes,
Right,
yes, we're on the
right.
same page with that. So just to say to what I'm saying again, now, that's why I'm saying Ahfyahkah Music Arts Distribution. You know what I mean? We have to make a difference, because most artists, even if you see them and they're doing an independent thing, at the full of the day, they still have things they have to take care of that requires money. And artists making money, in a sense, that's a facade, because even if you're making money, it's just like anything. You make money, you spend money because you have bills and you have expenditures. So to be on a Jay-Z level, to be on a Puff Daddy level, to be on a anybody, All right, to say no names, just to be millionaire and billionaire without compromising with the machine.
Just to simplify
that is a
right.
task
Just to
that has yet to be
simplify it a
accomplished.
little bit more. Just to simplify it a little bit more. It's like working for a company or working for a person, and opposed of starting your own company and working for yourself. You know
That's different. You want to know why I'm saying that? Because again, United States of America Corporation is your business. Is the business that you gotta. You can say you're gonna do a business right now on their property, which is called the country, because you have to go sign with their business corporation. That's the problem.
Right. So
that's the problem. It's not about your own business, brother.
Right.
It's about our own government, straight to the point, because the government is the business. As long as I set up a if I set up a company, if I go when you register your company, you can't operate your company without registering with the bigger corporation, which is the government. People don't think of the government as the business.
You're going to pay me for that, and you're going to pay taxes every year on top of that.
We don't own the money.
Right.
You don't even own yourself.
Right.
That's the reality that I stay inside of. So anything we do,
technically, you know what I'm saying, it's been being exposed where we're born into the world as our own corporations, just with our name and our social security number. So a lot of people has been digging into that area, and you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to use exploit, but they've been basically taking control of that. You know what I'm saying, and not just being a number that you get paid off of, whether it's in the courts with the capital letters, or, you know what I'm saying, on these court cases or whatever. They're taking that back, okay? And with billions and billions of people, imagine if we all took that back. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is this, brother. Africa have to be free, my lord. And for that to happen, man, because as long as we're working within their system, and I get it, you have to work from where you're at. It's like you're in a dark tunnel. Your pathway to the light involves a lot of that being in the dark.
And music applies, this stuff applies everywhere. It's not just in music, it's in every aspect of life, period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. I keeping it on the music thing just true. It relates to what's going on with me and where I'm going,
But I want people to understand.
No, everything is a world.
Just because you might not be involved in music doesn't mean that you're not involved in this right here.
No,
and
but
it's not affecting you.
No, but if they're listening good, they know that.
Right.
They know that because what we're singing about is a world situation. We're talking about the world and the system, so that includes everything.
Right.
We're not talking about in sense of the specific vein of music. It's because of the guests. And people want to know what's going on across the music records and what's the vision and what's this and what's that. And I'm like, well, this is music business and music industry. But of course, this is beyond just the music.
Right.
But at the full of the day, the most powerful weapon that even they know is music. Keep in mind, Lucifer is a musician. I don't make that up. People can research that. According to the story, Lucifer is a musician, amongst other things. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand why they dominate the music industry. And who are they in specifics? We can say on a level it's the distribution companies. When you're talking of Sony, when you're talking of Universal, which is now Universal Music Group in terms of music, but it's the same Universal that deals with movies and music from back then.
Mobile, telephone companies, one big company, split apart, little companies, come back together, they merge, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean.
But all of these things is tied to the government though.
Right.
You know what I mean? The corporate, because remember says corporation by a corporation. United States of America is a business. So any business on this land belongs to them ultimately. The money don't even belong to we. Whose name is on the money? The same people. When they say we and us, when they are talking, they're talking from their angle. We and us. You think we and us because I'm telling you, democracy is we the people. We and us is them. It's not us. It's it's
the
them.
Money actually says that when I give you money, you're supposed to give me back the money. It says that it's supposed to be like a
but irrespectively
free
the
transfer or something.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I'm saying?
they own the money though.
They own your children.
They
That's
own
what
everything.
People don't understand how ACS can come to your door and snatch kids and leave with them. You sign a birth certificate in the hospital.
Exactly,
right. You signed away your child's rights, basically.
But you have no other choice. At least that's what they say.
Right.
You see, all of these things can be challenged, and I keep in stuck to the time, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But the point out, that's why I'm still giving in the music, because I still have to talk about what's going on with me. Although what's going on, it connects to everything.
Yes.
But in terms of how influential music is, and in terms of I have the baton now, what I'm supposed to do with it, in terms of why certain things not happen for certain artists certain way unless they do certain things and sign with certain things and certain things and certain things. The thing about this, one of the most initial steps I think with anything when it comes to black people, all right, why Africa first of all? Why Africa first of all? People, everything that you own, break it down material-wise, it comes from Africa. And the knowledge that built these things, it didn't start with the Caucasian. They learned from our ancestors. So the whole entire Americas, North America, Canada, Central America, South America, depends on Mama Africa for everything. There's nothing that they don't depend on Mama Africa for. China, why do you think they are bidding for? If US, if Mama Africa is not the major supplier for all world industries that is billion-dollar big industries according to their number system of money, then explain them what's going on. Why would they be concerned of a little people who have nothing? Why would the US be there still trying to, oh, let's get something going on? And why China there, oh, let's get something going on? So the point of me saying that now is to say, black people need to go to Africa and do their business there. It's better you register your business with certain African governments. Now, on a level, I don't trust no government in Africa, but at the same time, you have to realize the pressure there underneath. The ones who still holding up with it, a lot of them is like them have to compromise in a sense. But this also connects to spirituality, my brother, because most African, I don't see no African leader that's in them, right now, in them ancient African spirituality. Not to say they don't have this in them privacy, but on surface, they speak in English.
They don't even wear their native clothing.
Exactly, all of that.
Right, they don't even wear that anymore,
and most Africans, just like us, is Christians or Muslims.
Right.
And the deity they're serving is not nobody look like me and you, and the head is the Caucasian.
Which is surprising because Christ came down long time from Africa was.
Well, that's a story because before Christ it was KaRasta. Before Jesus it was Eru. Y'all streamed that song for me, and I mentioned that too. In the song, before Christ, it was KaRasta. And that connects to what I'm saying, you know, which is what I'm always saying, you know, because the powers come through the spirituality, you know, my lord. So, this thing is an intricate thing, you know. It involves a lot of meditation, a lot of focusing, because simply to say, okay, let's just put up music and just work with the system, register your thing, okay, you get some bookings, okay, keep it up, it goes on and on. It's like, because at the full of the day, it don't make no sense because I could keep on going on about that, but I'd rather go on into the direction I'm trying to say. I just
got one question about you on that subject. Yeah. Do you think the quality of music has changed as the years gone by?
Of course, because of the industry, because of the culture that controls the industry is not ours. It's not our indigenous nature controlling the industry.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's people who don't care about the culture who, of course, are going to tell you, okay, if you want to go on these platforms, in order to, first of all, again, let's be reminded, when you're talking about blowing up, becoming big, boss, become a star, you're talking about compromising with the industry.
Yeah.
Because that's the industry. Because this is the industry that is U.S. dollars. U.S. dollars is over everybody else's currency. Yet U.S. dollar is backed by absolutely nothing.
Right.
It's just bully and guns and go in your place. Yo, run your shit. That is USA. Run your shit. But they're trying to do it polite. North Africans say we're not scared of you no more. We see Mama talk to them the other day. Africana, forget her name right now. But people need to what's going on between the U.S. and Russia and the U.S. and Africa and Africa and everybody, you know. So this thing is serious, man. Right now, we can't say shit. You can't say shit online. You can't say shit in your music because you're dealing with the same fucking industry. I'm going to blow up and be big in a what industry? You understand what I'm saying? So Ahfyahkah Music Industry, you know what I mean? Ahfyahkah Music Arts Distribution.
Right.
Officially.
Right.
Meaning, you know when Marcus Messiah Garvey say, where's the black Rothschild? Where's the black Rockefeller? See him right, yes, sir. Me and Marcus Garvey. I don't want to talk too much. I'm a musician. Don't bother me.
But that's those bloodlines that I told you. The bloodline's been there for a while, man. The
bloodline.
Right.
The bloodline, but for the bloodline and spirit line, strength up. More strength because that's what I'm saying, you know, man. We don't own shit until we own shit. It starts with industry. It starts with spirituality first and foremost because that's what's influencing. Whether you want to say science, whether you want to say spirituality, that's what's influencing everything. Spirituality means it's for our benefit. They're using spirituality. They're using spirituality in the name of God and Jesus Christ and Jehovah. They're using spirituality.
I mean,
The Vatican, they're using, whether it's Jehovah's Witness or whatever, all your accepted religions, organized religions, and even certain sets within Rastafari, because they've been trying to do that, especially with the 12 tribes, to be real. They have a set called 12 Tribes of Israel. Love to everybody in every house of Rasta, but we're just talking what we know. But really,
it's the truth.
And reality, again, them have a thing, the IBF people, them who work with the AIC people, them, the IBF people already tell you about the Black Messiah. You have to be careful of the Black Messiahs, them. You know what I mean? But we need to go in the music soon. But I want to finish it off on the note of that, saying that we have to look to Mama Africa and build our industries there. We're not going to get nowhere here. Why there? Oh, we here. We're born here. We don't know nothing here. Why is the world so focused on Africa? Why is the United States so focused on Africa? Don't forget what we just said. Everything down to your cell phone comes from Africa. The things that you don't think come from Africa, it comes from Africa. You cannot mention one thing that don't come from Africa. No, I'm talking to a certain set of people, which is majority out there. I want to say on another level, though, something. Ancient America is Mama Africa, because you have a set of people going to tell me, say, no, we're indigenous. I know what you're talking about, but on a level, it's levels to the thing. Because the further black you're going to go, like you talk about Soca, Pangea, the further black you're going to go, you're going to realize, yeah, it was one land mass, but the stages of it. You know what I mean? So on a level, we belong here as well as everywhere.
Right, but what I'm thinking, and what probably the average viewer is thinking out there is that, okay, you saying that we need to go, right? But then when you look at the other side, they're coming. So
not all of them, and people free to, at the full of the day, this, I understand this, you know. Every single individual is free to do as they please, you know, at the full of the day.
Right.
According to law. And according to law, at least up to right now, it's still going on. You could go live anywhere you want. So I'm not really concerned about who want to leave there to come here, who want to leave here to come there.
But they're coming here.
But when you say
under
they,
the impression that
but it's not all of them. It's not all of them.
Right. It's not. It's not.
It's never all of them. So we're talking of some people who's gonna do that. I don't really want to spend no more time talking about them people, because them people are up on free agenda.
But we have a high population here, so that's why we
what
have
I'm saying
to
is this,
keep
you know.
them. You know
what
I'm
talking about is going on already, you know.
Right.
So you see the people them that's been going over there,
And
is going
been,
over there, right?
It's been.
The people that's coming from the Western world going over there, it's going on, been going on, it's gonna keep on going on. The people that want to go from here over here, for whatever reason, been going on, is going on. And still people have their reasons, because still if you're gonna make some money, I think I understand leaving there to go over here, because I know people like that and still know people like that, so they can bring back the money over there. If the ultimate goal is to build it in Mama Africa, then that's supposed to. If you come into America to make money to go back in Africa and invest, I understand that, and a lot of them is doing that. I don't care about nobody else who's not focusing on Africa at the full of the day, you know, because the world power, so-called, are focusing on Africa, and it's been like that.
I would just think that it would make more sense for stay there and let us come there. You know what I'm saying?
The one, it's not everybody leave. It's not, you see the ones, I can't talk for everybody, you know, but like I say, I
but eventually they'll come back there.
You see, the day business is very vague, you know. You have different kind of people, just like here, they're everywhere.
Right.
You have people that want to be in America. You have people that understand America is a place for money. You get in and go do what you want to do elsewhere.
Right, right.
That's all of those people there, you know.
Right.
You see what I mean? I don't want to spend time talking about the people that's not on the same focus as us, you know.
But once again, we have a high population here, and they're probably watching the show now, and they're probably trying to.
The higher population is in Africa.
Right.
So compared to, meaning this, compared to the United States of America, America don't got nobody here compared to Mama Africa.
Oh yeah, that's
so
true.
If we're gonna talk about high population, you cannot compare Mama Africa to United States of America.
I'm not, but I'm just.
I know what you're saying, but it goes the same way the other way around.
Right.
So the point I'm making is that I don't care about who don't have the ultimate goal to build in Mama Africa. I mean, it's the person missing the point. Whether they born there, coming over here, or whatever. If you're over there, if I was born there and I want to go America, the only reason would be just to get the money to bring it back over here, like some people doing already.
Right.
Whoever doing something else, I don't have time to think about what they're doing, you know, because they
no,
do
it's
what
just
they
that
want
we have easy reach to these ones here. That's why I keep mentioning them, comparison to those ones over there.
Not really, because most of my followers is over there because of technology right now.
Right.
Because of the times, you know.
Right.
Yeah. How much time we have left? Only 11 minutes? But if we go into the music.
Right.
But the whole point I want to say is this. Mama Africa, we're soon going to be there, and people who've been following me from ever, wherever, whoever, whatever, y'all would have realized this ain't no new meditation, you know. That's why as the time going, I got to say the vision was Mama Africa. What am I still doing here? But like I say, we're starting up a distribution network. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk too much about that. more than the fact that that's what we're doing in terms of
it's big
specifics
things,
of that.
right? Big things.
All right, put it
coming.
like this. Soon people gonna be able to get my music in Ghana and in South Africa on
Right.
physical format, not just digital. Yeah, and that's, you could say that's where we're starting from, you know. We're a distribution company, but distributing primarily focusing on the continent of Mama Africa.
Right.
You know how much people is in Mama Africa? First of all, the way it looks on the map, people keep in your mind this. People don't understand why Africa. It supplies the whole world with everything for your industries, plus it's way larger than it looks like on the map.
Oh, of course, everything's small on the map.
You can say Mama Africa is like 80% of the world's landmass, you know, that you see above water. So why Africa?
Of land.
Yeah.
Right, of land. Because
You could have fit the whole world in
water.
Africa.
This world here is all water.
Yes.
Right, like our bodies. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Right. So,
Yes, and they make Africa look smaller on the map. Anyhow, different parts I want. A time ago, I want to play the theme song.
oh, you trying to get to the theme too? What?
No, we're not performing the theme song, but I want the geese play, but I
No,
have
you
to
got-
do
you
different
got-
parts
right,
I want
you got
first,
it.
you know what I mean? So that theme song can play fully, at least up to geese part, you know? So different parts I want, I'm going to wet my throat. Can you put the volume up, please, my brother? We got Mama Africa, Ahfyahkah Music Arts Distribution, KaRasta Music Records. Yeah, we're for going at the rims now, you know? Hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Different parts of one. Different parts of one. Different parts of one. Hey, 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 hey. Different parts of the body, yet the body is one. Different parts of the truth, yet the truth is one. Different religious stories, yet the stories are one. Holy Spirit must not try mistake is one. Difference between man and woman. Difference between left hand and right hand. Difference between the day and the night. Difference between the left and the right. Different parts of the body, yet the body is one. Different parts of the truth, yet the truth is one. Different religious stories, yet the stories are one. Holy Spirit must not try mistake is one. Queen is the moon and the king is the sun. Niggas is the moon and king is the sun. Yin and male is the yang. See each one between each one. Eh? Different parts of one. 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 Hey, 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 hey. Different parts of the body, yet the body is one. Break down everybody, it's the carbon atom. Different parts of the body, yet the body is one. One breath, one creation, yeah. And still head and body is one. All together is one, yeah. And still everybody is one. One breath, one creation, yeah. Different parts of one. Different parts of one. Different parts of one. Man and woman, different parts of one. Different parts of one. The elderly and the baby. Parts of one. Different parts of one. Your nature. Different parts of one. Different parts of one. Different parts of one. And when hearts beat as one, then you know we are one. Yeah. Living creation. Living creation. Yeah. Living creation. Yeah. Yes. Yin and yang. Yeah. In and out. Unseen, unseen, below and above, parts of one. Different parts of one man and woman, different parts of one. Different parts of one, the elderly and the baby again. They want different parts of one. Polarity I want. The polarity is one. Balance, yin yang. Balance, yeah. Correspond, yeah. Different parts of one. Feminine is the yin, yeah, yeah. And the masculine is the yang, yeah, yeah. Darkness is the feminine, water is the feminine, sunlight is the masculine, yang, yeah. Kiss the sun, let's see the younger, yell nature. Whole system name after him name Solar, aka Ruler, center of attraction, call him Mama Africa. Parts of one, yeah, parts of one. Hail the Emperor of Mama Africa, Kadama Haile Selassie Negusa Nagasa. Who say he's the Emperor of all black people everywhere, Negroes everywhere, including those in America. Emperor of Ethiopia say he's the Emperor of all black people, including those in America, United States of America, North America, Canada. It should go deeper than just thousands of years, you know. Millennia. Negus and Agas. Yes, I am. Rastafari.
Yes, plus.
Yes, I. Definitely want these part here in the song, you know, so.
Turkey's to show his face, man. Pick up the keys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we deal with that, you know. But different parts of one, you know. And that song is available on our streaming platforms as well as the, theme song, Live That SINY, Live That SINY.
Right.
All platforms, streaming platforms, YouTube, Tidal, Spotify.
Right.
Theme song, different parts of one, as well as every other song we have.
Go check it out, you know. I had to pick up my little nephew, Bam Bam, walking. Granddaughter, walking. Just one more. Not walking yet, but soon, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Adriana, we waiting on you to walk. Yeah. Congratulations, good. Mo. Master's degree, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good. That's
my BFF right there. Let me see, what else am I missing? All new projects coming up. Look forward.
Yeah, definitely 2023.
Right. Big things. So.
Big things. Yeah. Big up the Badger Radio. Yeah. Original piece. On the television show. Oh, yeah, you don't know live that SINY. Live that Staten Island, New York. Yes, I represent for my brethren judges on the television show. Oh, yeah, you don't know there we're bringing it straight to you. Still under the sun, nothing new. Just the ancients revealed to you. Yeah. Prophecy speaks to you. Live that SINY. Live that Staten Island, New York. Yes, I represent for my brethren judges on the television show. Oh, yeah, you don't know live that SINY. Live that Staten Island, New York. Yes, I represent for my brethren judges on the television show. Oh, yeah, you don't know.
It was Richmond Island, 1661. Still mystical, still holding strong. Consolidated 1898. Just think the other boroughs, let's celebrate. We had the ferry built 1817. You needed up the Hudson, don't worry, we'll get it in. Yeah, trading never dead, that mean it's still alive. We had a name change, 1975. So much history, it goes on and on. You gotta link charges just to know what they want. You from any other boroughs or you from out of town? You say in SINY, I know you ain't a clown.
Live that SINY. bridging churches on the television show. Oh, yeah, you don't know I live that SINY. Live that Staten Island, New York. Yes, I represent for my bridging churches on the television show. Oh, yeah, you don't know